Now, next thing, it's a test automation design principle, script design principle. This is the more broad chapter. We're going to have more stuff here. How many of you designed test cases in the past? All right. How many of you designed test automation scripts? So what would be your take on the approach designing manual test versus the automation test? Was it different the way you designed it?
Oh yeah.
How?
Automation is more technical, and in manual testing is a lot of times not as. You don't have to do the steps as much. People have product knowledge more than what you do with a automated test. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, this makes sense, of course. Yeah. So, different way of thinking.
Right.
When you design manual test, you think it literally step by step how the manual you would test it, right? And basically what you do it for, because you want someone to repeat your steps. When you design automation, and I made a script, or the pseudocode for that, you keep in mind principles of test automation, which not necessarily replicate end-to-end steps, but rather has a different ways in different aspects, right? So today we're going to talk about here, what are the principles to consider when you design test script, automated script. Now, it's based on the 4 main fundamentals. Your test automation and the script has to be modular. It has to be event-driven. It has to be data-driven. And it has to be rich logic. All right? Now, as far as the modularity, I already briefly mentioned it earlier when I was talking about the tool, right? You have to be artifact greedy. You have to strive to achieve one test script or one test module, what we call, per functional area. When you look at your application, we're going to do exercises. You have mentally to divide it into functional areas and prepare yourself to design test script just one per functional area. Why only one? Who would have told? Well, yes.
Because you want to make it modular and reuse the code.
You want to do what?
You want to reuse the code.
Of course, that's one way to say it. Why would you just strive for one artifact?
So you can replace it in one place for multiple scripts.
That's obvious, right? But why not 2 artifacts? You can replace with two artifacts in different places.
Maintenance.
Maintenance, perfect, right? Again, you always think day after tomorrow. How would you live with this framework? Less artifacts you have, less maintenance you have, right? When you discussing the design time with your management, even if doing it this way will take longer time, it's worth it because you're gonna save big time on the maintenance going forward, right? So always think modular. One script per one functional area. Now, event-driven. You need to create a script which triggers validation, right? Then we'll talk about it. So, as a professional QAs and the testers, we know any procedure that doesn't have validation from testing perspective, worthless, right? Why? Why it's worthless?
Nothing to test.
It does not produce any report on the pass and fail conditions, right? And this is what we're doing it for. Excellent. Data-driven. Any input and output data has to be parameterized. Do you understand the concept of parameterization? Who doesn't? Everybody do? Right? Everybody does? So, parameterization, it's replacing fixed values with dynamic content, right? And the rich logic. We need to consolidate multiple test scenarios together. That applies to the first point of one script or one business process, right? So again, modular, event-driven, data-driven, rich logic.